Mr. Chen is neighbor, friend, and he's a lawyer, retired lawyer, but he's a master of Tai Chi also. And I would love to get back to that Tai Chi Wednesday morning when you open it up again at your home. Thank you, sir.
I wouldn't call myself a master yet. I started practicing Tai Chi about almost 30 years ago, when when my children attended the Chinese school in Palos Verdes, and at that time they also have adult classes. So there was a Tai Chi class. And so after I dropped off my kids, so I walked over to the Tai Chi class and started learning Tai Chi. And after a few years, my teacher, Ling Rensu, who's from Taiwan, and she has now retired. She sent me to her master, which turned out to be the grandmaster of one of the 5 styles of Tai Chi. And that style he teaches is called Yang style, Yang style. So I went there, and his class was at Culver City in a temple. I forgot which temple, and one of the Jewish temples. And so it was 2 classes, the regular class, everybody joined, and then later on, that's like 7 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, then we start the so-called advanced class. So that from 9 to 10. By the time I got home, I was very hungry and very tired at the same time. And so, and then I couldn't go there anymore. I have family illness, so I stopped taking lessons from the grandmaster. And then a few years later, the Chinese school, my teacher, Ling Yunsu, left the Chinese school. So the Chinese school went to the grandmaster and asked him to send someone, a teacher, to teach Chinese school. And so he sent Ling Yunsu. But Ling Yunsu already left the school and she didn't want to go back. So she recommended me. So the grandmaster said, okay. So I went back to the Chinese school now as their teacher. So I taught there for, I forgot how many years, 5-10 years. And the oldest student I have at that time was 70 years old, around 75. And he recently passed away. 95 years old. So I started teaching there 15 years ago. And after the Chinese school, I wanted to travel, so I couldn't teach regularly. So I stopped teaching at the Chinese school. And then when I came back, they have a new teacher, and I just wanted to teach at home. So I taught basically friends and whoever was interested, and I taught them at school. So that's my background. And as Goji said, I'm a retired lawyer. I used to practice many years here in downtown LA, and intellectual property and general corporate as well. So you saw what a real good Tai Chi practitioner would move. And so I have, let me get my notes up, and so I can go down up. I need to sign in on my other phone too. need to get two going. Otherwise, I can only see the my own notes. I can't see you, and you can't see me. So I need to sign on another phone. That's what we arrange. So let me see. Hopefully it works. All right. So maybe not. Let me see. Okay. Can you still hear me? Yes? Okay, good. So now I want to get my notes up. See if it works. Can you see my notes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Just want to make sure you can hear me and I can hear you. So what is Tai Chi? We also call it Tai Chi Chuan. Well, Tai Chi Chuan is this echo here. Let me see if I can do something else. Not quite. We'll see how it goes. Doesn't seem to. Well, hopefully it'll work. So it considered as the oldest martial arts in China, perhaps in the world. And but today it really basically practiced as a health exercise, and it's perhaps also the oldest exercise practice in the world, and it practiced by millions in China and now around the world. And it's really a series of movements, flowing movements, and Chinese believe these movements, the movement direct the qi, and the qi, according to I Ching, is the life force of the universe. And this is and what you try to do, you try to achieve the yin and yang balance of the universe. You might have heard of yin and yang, and actually you might have heard of the binary code. And so yin, I Ching is the one that talk about yin and yang, and I will get into I Ching a little bit more later on. So it's a form of moving meditation. You have to be 100% focused in the movement itself, and use your mind to direct the body qi flow as the body moves. And so every Tai Chi movement you saw, it has a yin aspect and a yang aspect. At the very highest level, practitioner like my grandmaster able to achieve the balance or harmony of yin and yang, and the unity of man and universe. Chinese philosophy very much, I believe, perhaps, I think one of the biggest contributions of Chinese philosophy is the unity of man and universe. And so that's what, at the ultimate, that's what high-level practitioners, masters try to achieve. And well, there are 5 styles of Tai Chi. and Yang being the youngest, the latest style and the most popular. And it was first founded by martial arts head coach of the Qing Imperial Guards. This guy, Yang Lu Chan, he is the head of the head coach. He's the head coach of the Qing Imperial Guard. And he created this Yang style to teach a female attendant. There's an echo? Okay, I'll just take off the, I'll just take this off then. Okay. All right, I hope I got rid of the echo. So Yang Lu Chan, he came up with this style primarily to teach the female attendants of the imperial court to defend themselves. So the emphasis is not to use strength to defend yourself, but use the attacker's strength to leverage the attacker's strength to hit back with the attacker. So Chinese are saying of using 4 ounces of power to repel a ton of force. So that is the very, very essence of Tai Chi. But to learn the 81 movements, actually it was longer, okay? It was like 200 something. But today we practice 81 movements. But in the Mao era, in the 1960s, they reduced that further to 24 movements. So now there are different shorter forms, 24 movements, 48 movements, even 60 movements. I think most that you see in the Chinese parks or here, here they practice mostly the 81. But in China, you will see most of them practice the short form. And so who can benefit from Tai Chi or Yang style at least? It's very easy to start. I've taught kids, I mean really kids, 8 years old. And I've also taught 75 years old to start. And so it takes, you will see there are studies, many studies done on Tai Chi, the health benefit, and they show that even after a few months, people have dramatic changes to the depression, to different illnesses. But to really achieve the full benefit, it usually takes about 3 years. It took me 3 years. One day, my master told me, are you able to, I can tell your crutch is loose. Or if you practice yoga, your first chakra, you are able to attain your first chakra. And it's really the same thing. You're able to loosen your hip. And then when you hit that, when you're able to loosen your hip, then your whole body is able to relax. Okay? And even people sitting in a wheelchair, I've seen people practicing in a wheelchair. And during the COVID-19 in China, the patients practice in bed. And I'll talk about more why. So Tai Chi, what does the word mean? The 2 words. Tai meaning the earliest, the senior. the most senior, okay, and Qi is the utmost, highest. That's what Tai Chi means. And the movement is really called Tai Chi Chuan. Chuan meaning a fighting boxing. Tai Chi boxing, you can call it that way, or Tai Chi martial arts. But in the shorthand, we say Tai Chi, but actually, most of the time we really refer to Tai Chi Chuan. The Tai Chi is something else, okay? Tai Chi has another meaning. And who is the founder? Is this guy called Zhang Sangfeng. He was born in 1927. This is a picture of him when he became a Taoist priest, Taoist priest, monk. You can call him monk, but not a Buddhist. Okay, Tao. Tao is actually the most practiced original philosophy and religion of Chinese. Buddhism is imported. So this Taoist leader, Zhang Sangfeng, he's a philosopher. He's also a pharmacist, or you can call it chemist, but he used chemical to improve health. And so that is 1927. So those days, maybe, I don't know, the pharmacists in the Western world in 1927, but here we go. This guy is one of the earliest. So when he was 14 years old, he achieved a higher score in China's national exam. The China decide who can be cabinet members by exam, by merit system, not by voting for a Republican or Democrat party. They use a merit system. So people from all over China would have exam locally, and then the successful ones go to Beijing, go to the capital, and have exam, sit-down exam in front of the in the imperial court. And so this Zhang Sangfeng, 14 years old, he scored the highest. He was named the #1 scholar of the country, and he was given a cabinet position. I forgot what it was, and after a while he left. He didn't want to be a cabinet member of the imperial court, and he left and just traveled around the world, or China at that time. China thought China was the world, So around China and what they call try to attain the ultimate what they call reaching be one with the universe. Okay, and so he is one of the giants of the Tao philosophy. And so I have to say a few words about I Ching, because that's what really Tai Chi derived from. And so I Ching, as I don't know how many of you know about I Ching. I hope some of you do. And I Ching, also called the Book of Change. It's claimed to be the oldest book in the world, 6,000 years ago, written by Fu Xi. And it's a book that teaches about cosmology, about yin and yang, about Tai Chi, about the oneness of man and universe. And many of you know the binary code, which is the foundation of today's computer, although that's going to be overtaken by quantum mechanics. But Leibniz, the mathematician, came out with the binary code and was inspired by I Ching. And the title of his article on binary code was called explanation of the binary arithmetic, which uses only the characters 1 and 0, with some remarks on its usefulness and on the light it throws on the ancient Chinese figures of Fuxi. And what is that Chinese ancient figure? This is the basic diagram. And you might have noticed the one on the left, the circle, the circle with this black with a white dot and white with, well, it should be a black dot, but it shows white. It's wrong. It should be a black dot and a white and a white dot and a black. According to I Ching, there was nothing in the universe. In the beginning of the universe, there was nothing. And then there's you see that little Tai Chi showing up in the middle. That's called Tai Chi. That's when the universe came to being. From this, you can call my binary code. And it moves like the sun. It goes, comes and goes. And so that's why you have the symbol of this on the left, the circle with the kind of like a two tadpoles embracing each other, and they are supposed to wax and wane. And when they are not balanced, then when it's out of balance, then the world will not be healthy, will not have peace. And when it's in balance, especially with a human being, you will be healthy. As far as Chinese go, Chinese traditional medicine always emphasize harmony, always emphasize the balance of the 12 meridians. And if any of these meridians are too strong or too weak, it's out of balance and you get sick. That is the very fundamental foundation of Chinese traditional medicine. And so so this is what so Zhang Sanfeng, this founder of the, he's not founder of Tao. Tao was, many years, 6,000 years ago, we have Tao. And Tao, or Tao, okay. Tao is the English way of saying it, Chinese way of Tao. And so I should also say a couple of words I already mentioned earlier. Buddhism is important. Tao was the original Chinese philosophy, but frankly, most Chinese don't understand that philosophy. It's too abstract and really, really very hard. And frankly, I don't think I understand a lot of it. I think I just touch a little bit. I only understand a little bit of this. Too much mathematics for me. And so Tao is really what guides China. And then Buddhism came in. The Tang dynasty, Buddhism got imported from India. And then Tao have their martial art called Wudang. And the Buddhism came up with the Shaolin. So many of you heard of Shaolin, okay? And they look at Chinese martial art and Shaolin. But for Chinese, they all know there are really two schools of martial arts: Tao, Wudang, and Buddhist Shaolin. So this Zhang Sanfeng, how did he come up with the Tai Chi trend? Well, he was, watching, sitting by the window and enjoying the view outside, and he saw a snake down on the ground. You can hardly see it. This is an old, very old painting. I don't know how many years, at least 1,000 years old. And you can faintly recognize the bird. So he saw the bird, flew down and want to kill the snake, want to eat the snake. And the snake would fight back. But the snake, snake has the mouth, of course, but it doesn't have claws and it can't fly. So it totally defensive. It cannot fly up to fight the bird, right? So it has to wait for the bird to come attack and then counter. So that's the whole idea of Tai Chi. You leverage the attacker's power to counterattack. And the real masters, they can feel the attacker's chi energy. Sometimes people call it chi energy, and I call it life force, but some call energy. But these masters, they can feel the direction of the attacker's energy, and before they really move to attack, the Tai Chi the master would move and cut off the attacker. So they have to practice so much. They can feel you, and kind of remind me of Muhammad Ali. He's very much a Tai Chi master. He's really fly around, and he can tell where this eye is coming from, and he would parry. He would move his body around and to get off and to count and to counter. He usually, if you notice him, he usually wait for the other side to hit and then he counter. So that basically is Tai Chi. And I don't know if anyone has any question at this time. Let me stop the broadcasting. Let me get back to the screen. Okay. So before I get onto the health, the health studies, there have been many studies on Tai Chi. You'll be astonished. Clinical studies. But before I went off to talk about some of these studies, I don't know if any of you have any questions you want to ask now. You're welcome to. And if there is none, or I don't know if you know how to use the raise hand in the Zoom. You can go to more, and then you can see raise hand. So if you touch that, click raise hand, then your screen would show up. Your hand will show up in your screen, and then I can see that, and then you can ask question. But
I can say this was.
Okay, I see Cameron, right? Cameron, I think has a question. So, Cameron, if you unmute yourself, and then you can ask the question. Go ahead.
Yes,
Cameron.
sir. Is the institute that did the study NIH or NHI? It is NIH.
National Health Institute.
National Health?
NHI.
Is it? NIH. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This is so
any questions
interesting.
about what I talked about the Tai Chi trend before we move forward?
I have a question, Mr. Chan. Do you have to memorize all these 18 or 81 or 24 moves?
81.
81 moves.
Honestly, it's very hard to memorize.
I know.
It's very hard to memorize the names of the movements, and it's very hard to remember all the movements. And the minute you lose concentration, you forgot. You don't know where you are anymore. Okay,
Right.
you have to start with the very first beginning. Do the Yang long form, which is what I teach. What I think most in America are learning, and Yang form. It takes about, kind of funny. You either do it in about 20 minutes or you do it in 40 minutes. So doing 40 minutes, you're very slow, okay? And 20 is what most people can handle, because even 20 minutes is a lot. I don't know how many of you have tried meditation. Try to meditate for 20 minutes. It's like a lifetime.
Right.
Most people can meditate for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. To do 20 minutes, you have to be really, really focused and not get distracted. And your mind doesn't wander away. As you know, when you do meditation, the discipline of mind, you wander away and start thinking about something else. Forgot you were supposed to be meditating. Same thing with Tai Chi. The problem is keeping your mind from wandering. And the minute you wander away, then you lose your concentration. You lose your yin yang balance, and you would forget where you are at among the 81 movements. And even I get into trouble sometimes. And that's the hardest, which is why it's easier to just follow the instructor and move as the instructor moves. And I try to call out the name to help those, because it's really best not to always look at the instructor, because you really should look at where your chi is going. You really should look at where your body, your fingers, your legs, or your elbow, you really should be looking where your body is moving toward, not looking at the instructor. But until you can remember all the movement, you have to look at the instructor. And so you do get benefit. It's not like, okay, I don't get benefit. But as I said, even 3 months, people were surprised to get benefit from practicing Tai Chi. But if I can do 40 minutes, I try to do 40 minutes. And actually, I do more than just a slow set. There's a fast set. You do as fast as you can. And by the time you're done, you're all sweat. and the fast set it's also for health, but it's more for actual defense. And then the Yang master, Tong Chi-ying, the guy you saw is Tong Kai-ying, and their family came up with a Tai Chi set that is slow, fast, and it's very slow and then very fast, and then very slow and very fast. So okay, so let's
One more question before
on.
we go.
Okay, you have Shoran. Just call me Tom, okay? Make me younger, okay? Mr. Chan make me old.
Okay, Tom.
Go ahead.
I wonder, as you mentioned that it's hard to remember all the motions. So is there any benefits of getting a recorded all the motions and watch it over and over and learn it?
Well, it's hard to watch the video. There are many videos, including the one I show you. There's a link, there's a website. They collected all the Tai Chi videos, all the different styles, different master. Some are like, 100 years old videos, really old pictures, videos. And but look at the video, it's only one dimension. But Tai Chi is, 3-dimensional, right? And actually it has a 4th dimension. But you can't really see all the dimensions, so it's kind of tough. But if you practice yourself, you forgot, you can look at the names, and the names kind of give you a hint. You might have seen when I was playing that video, there are names of that in English on the bottom. But those are Chinese translations of the Chinese names. And so you're looking at that, you can tell kind of what the movement should be. And if you still can't remember, you just have to stop and look at the video.
No, but I meant, should there be a master or a teacher to correct all the motions?
Yeah, it is very hard to. It just, to me, it's impossible to teach yourself. I regret it. It's just.
Okay.
I just don't see how. Well, I suppose anybody can teach themselves, and I know this one woman. She's a dancing teacher at one of the high school in Torrance. Not anymore. She used to be, and she has a degree in dance or movement arts or something. She came to me and I think 3 classes, and she got it.
Okay. So
Yeah, she's the only one. I've never seen anybody like that. I'm supposed to be very good, okay? I'm supposed to be when the grandmaster wanted a teacher, my master sent me, so he considered me as the best in his class. Okay.
If one person did it, probably more people could do it. Thank you.
But as I said, you can benefit by any way you move. Even if you move roughly, you benefit by it. Okay, you don't have to reach the pinnacle. You don't have to spend 3 years. But if you really want to achieve the yin-yang balance and get all the benefit, it takes time. And to me, the biggest reason people drop out is they lost patience. Just like meditation. I bet 100 people try meditation, maybe 5 continue a year later. So I try to, encourage people and not teach them too much. I think sometimes the instructor teach them too much, they get overwhelmed. They got really overwhelmed, and sometimes I can't wait. Right? I'm so eager to get them to do it perfect, and it's just everyone has their own pace, and some faster, some slower. So if you start a Tai Chi class, I hope, once you start it, you stay on and just don't try to be perfect. Just go there and look at it as your first yoga class, your dancing class. It's kind of like dancing, really. It is. In fact, when you saw this movement that in the flyer, and you saw the master doing this movement. Okay, that in a way we talk about the hands, the 2 hands dancing with each other. Okay, so it's the yin. You can say the female, and the yang, the male. They're really dancing. Okay, they're really dancing. All these movements, they're really 2 people dancing, a woman, a female, a male. I don't want to say woman, man anymore today. You got LGBT now. But for Chinese, we don't really talk about woman, man. We talk about yin and yang. Okay, yin meaning the soft power, the soft life force. Yang is the hard life force. But they each are as powerful as each other. They complement each other. They wax and wane. And so that's try to put it in the very simplest form in 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So
okay.
Tom, I have a question. Tom,
yes.
You said the whole movement it's in the pelvic area. Is that because of the hips to be more relaxed, or?
Well, okay. The pelvic area is really the last area you relax. Okay.
Yes.
Your Chinese talk about the two of the acupuncture point or cavities. We call them, you actually call them chi cavity, okay, or chi point, okay, acupuncture point, or actually we call them chi point, chi cavity. One is right here,
Right.
right here, kind of a little bit in front of your twill, okay, and one is between it's between on the bottom on your pelvic, between your anus and your sex organ. That's the other point. And those 2 points are where the 12 meridians, they both go through these 2 points. So when you're able to get your chi going to the lower point that I told you about, when you're able to relax that point and clear the congestion, that's when your whole body is relaxed. But this is much easier to get that point to relax. But if you can get that point to relax, the lower point to relax, but frankly, when I did that, I didn't know about it. Okay, I just practiced, and one day all of a sudden, my teacher, Ling Ying-Shu, said, "Oh, you, I see your crutch, you're relaxed." I was doing what we call a clown hand, and she said, "Oh," and I said, "Oh, really?" I don't know what she's talking about. And then later on, when I start teaching, then I understand, because the hip, the crutch is and then I also found out from yoga, from the yogis, they for yoga to really achieve a high level, you have to get through your chakra, and that for them is the first chakra. It's actually exactly the same thing. Okay, maybe it was the Tao that passed it to the Indian Buddhists. I don't know, or the other way around, but I don't think so. I think the Tao that went to India, and then India brought back Buddhism.
Thank you.
So I want to go through real quick a few of these medical studies, and just so you know that it's not just me talking or Chinese I Ching. So let me see if I can get to those screen again. Okay, so all right, not NHI, yeah, NIH. Sorry. So just want to talk about a few what I learned about. I'm not a medical doctor, and but I'm very interested in the studies that have been done. So there's the NIH funded research, did a worldwide bibliometric analysis of evidence-based clinical study of Tai Chi. The past studies are all about what in US and Europe. They didn't search Chinese studies, Korean studies, Japanese studies, no Iranian studies. And so this research went through all these studies, and there are about 507. They were published between 1958 and 2013 in 21 countries around the world, mostly in China, closely followed by US, actually. And there's even one randomized clinical trial done in Iran. I know many of you might come from Iran, so that's why I want to point that out. And the first disease to be studied was tuberculosis, because Chinese always believed that Tai Chi is most beneficial for people with asthma, with allergies, but especially asthma, about lung disease. And so the first study was actually on tuberculosis. But apparently that study was that, but that wasn't a randomized clinical trial. Okay, of the 507 studies, about half of them were randomized clinical trials, and 94% of them reported positive effects of Tai Chi. And the top 10 diseases are here on my notes: hypertension, diabetes, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, breast cancer, heart failure, COPD, coronary heart disease, schizophrenia, and depression. So if you want to see that study, I have the link to that article, the published article by NIH. And there are a few UCLA studies. UCLA has East-West Institute of Health, or Integrative Health, and I forgot the name. I still remember when he started the institute, he came to see me. Actually came to Palos Verdes, look for money. I think that was like 20 years ago now, and so UCLA is one of the earlier university that conducted research on Tai Chi. Harvard too, and then Irvine also, UC Irvine medical school, or that's the institute actually on studying Tai Chi and Qigong. So 2011 there was a study by the UCLA Department of Psychiatry and Biobehavioral Sciences, and it showed that Tai Chi is effective in fighting late life depression, and without medications, without even therapy, without psychiatric therapy or psychological therapy. So it was very surprising. Very surprising. It's just as good as therapy sessions, and just as good as some of these medications. And then 2014, UCLA found out Tai Chi can decrease stress hormones, and resulting in reduced inflammation in people who have had breast cancer. And one of the recurrence of cancer is stress hormone. And so it reduced a significant risk factor for the recurrence of cancer. And so that was published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute. And the last one I thought was interesting is, I think I already mentioned it earlier, not in the 2011 study, in the 2017 study, showed that it worked just as well as talk therapy, and actually better than medication. In 2011, they found out it's as good as medication. In 2017, it found out that it's better than medication. So pretty surprising clinical studies. Irvine was concentrating to find out how do they find qi? Okay, how do they find qi? And they want to be able to measure the energy, the qi, the life force energy. And I have trouble finding the articles. Somehow I read it many years ago. I'm not able to find it, but there is an institute in UC Irvine that actually were able to measure the using spectrometer. Actually, find out that people who practice Tai Chi, the longer you practice, the more energy that you emit from your fingertips. And the professor even able to find the 12 meridians, and they're actually shown as energy in 12 lines of energy in the human body. So that's Tai Chi as I know it. And so let me get back and okay. So I think we time is up. Or what's on second? Let me turn on the lights. Okay.
Thank you, sir. This was excellent presentation and so complete. I've never heard of done a few times, but I always try to follow the teacher, and I'm lost.
Well, I can talk all day about Tai Chi. So I condense it to and I still remember after a few years of learning Tai Chi, my teacher gave me a book, a really old book, written by the great grandmaster. And I read the book and I didn't understand it. I really didn't. This book, I didn't really understand it. How many pages? Maybe a couple. Yeah, maybe about 100. 150 pages, and it's showing all the pictures, all the. I think somebody reprinted it, and maybe illegally, I don't know, because this is old. It's out of print, and showing how you do it, but so I read it, and it talked about how you have to totally relax. The first movement you saw, the first movement, raising your arm, that is actually the most important movement. That movement, when you do the movement, you have to forget any earthly thoughts. And you have to absolutely expel all these earthly desire, ideas, and totally forget them and just think of your movement. And so after I went to study from the grandmaster, and I started teaching, and I was afraid, I might be a lousy teacher. I don't want to teach the wrong thing. and my grandmaster was really mad at me. So I got this book out and read it again. And by golly, after that was about 20 years, I understand a lot of it. I still don't understand all of it, but I understand a lot of it. And I was so glad. And then when I teach my students, I feel good that I can really teach them more than just the movement, but actually the balancing yin and yang and how to relax. And I actually, this pandemic is kind of bad, frankly, because I don't teach. I can't teach anymore. And I got lazy myself. And Tai Chi is another very interesting thing. When you practice as a group, at least I can feel the chi. I can feel the bound, the energy force that bind everybody. And and I'm a lawyer, okay, and I'm very evidence-based, okay. And actually, I was actually pre-med thinking of becoming a psychiatrist when I was in college, and realized I can't even apply to medical school when you're not an American citizen. So that's when I became a lawyer. And so I'm always interested in health, and I always thought China has so much to offer. And unfortunately, during the Mao era, so much. In fact, a lot of that was lost. Mao, he thought Chinese medicine and all of that superstition, and he trashed them all. Yes, it was banned. Acupuncture was banned, and you have to go with Western medicine, And by golly, Chinese medicine was what got the first Chinese Nobel Prize. So the life is very interesting. So any more questions? We time up?
So, Tom, do you think the whole effect of this is first the meditation part that you have to forget, and then in that trance, then you move and the circulation gets better and the stretches becomes...
Well, they go together.
Yes, I think so.
It's just impossible to not get interrupted by all the memories you have, all the things you've been going through. These minds, just like when you meditate, they keep coming in. They keep interrupting your meditation. They keep interrupting your peace, you can say. And Tai Chi too. It's very hard. It's not really a trance. I don't call it trance, because you have to be absolutely conscious of your surrounding. Okay? A lot of the biggest mistake Tai Chi students do is they thought they were the Buddhist meditation. They have the eyes half closed, almost closed. Well, no. For us, your eyes have to be very alert. Your eyes have to be open, and your eyes have to see where your body's going, your elbow, your fingers, and I still remember the first time I get my eyes half closed, my master reprimanded me. You have to be super alert. When you're at that stage, you're very alert of all your surroundings. Don't forget, ultimately, the goal is to be part of the universe. The goal is to get yourself back to become part of the universe. All right? And so you're not leaving the universe. You are get yourself back as part of the universe.
Yes.
So I think that's the biggest I think weakness of many Tai Chi teachers that I noticed. And don't forget, right? You have to not just sense with your eye, you have to sense with your body. Your body have eyes, okay? They can sense the energy around you. So you can see a Tai Chi master fighting with other people, and he's not looking. He just and I never believe in these things, right? I always believe in science, and I always thought, these Tai Chi, 20 people trying to push this Tai Chi master down. That's just movies, that's just Hollywood. Until my grandmaster, and I understand he does that to all of his advanced students. He only picked 10 to teach of all his 100 students, and he would show and when he showed me that chi life force, I was we do so-called push hands. One hand, my hand on his arm and his hand on my arm. We just moving back and forth. And all of a sudden, I went flying. I went flying. My feet went up. I went airborne. I have no feeling of him pushing me or grabbing me or picking me up. I just went flying. And he grabbed me and then I stopped. I was absolutely shocked. And then the others told me they tried, early days he would demonstrate, he doesn't want to do that anymore. And somebody would go and hit him really, really hard. He would pick this biggest guy, 6 feet, 200 pounds, and would hit him really hard. But he ended up, fling 10 feet away. And then this guy would tell people that it's like somebody hit my leg with a big baseball bat. It doesn't hurt, but it's like that force that hit, and it just went airborne. Unfortunately, that's one bad thing about Chinese martial arts or medicine. There was no patent, right? Chinese don't have patent. They don't have copyright. They don't have trademark. So to protect their livelihood or the livelihood of the clan, they only teach one person, usually the older son. They don't even teach the second son or the third son. They only teach, and the Chinese herbalists too. They only teach one. The acupuncturists, they only teach one. Usually it's the older son. Sometimes not, but it's rare. And they never teach people that are not from the same family or the same clan. But again, it's rare. It happened, right? Zhang Shangfeng is Zhang, right? And the latest master is Dong. So they do, but when they can't find anybody that has this gift, I think you have to have gift. And it's amazing. I have a friend I met in Germany. I went to Germany and I spent a couple of years just bumming around the world and hitchhiking. And I met this gal in Germany. I just decided, I want to study German, see what it's like. So I met her, and she's from Denmark. One day she came to, after I haven't seen her for like 20 years, she came to visit me. And she told me, Tom, I learned Tai Chi. I said, yeah, well, I'm very interested. At that time, I haven't learned Tai Chi. I was living in Minnesota. And he said, Tom, you can push me. I show you. I not only learned Tai Chi, I actually learned the Chi force. And he pushed me. I couldn't move her at all. That was the first time I learned about Chi. First time. The second time was my grandmaster demonstrated to me what he really does is he really used my energy to, I think I was probably raising my body, and he just lift me up at the same time I'm moving up, but he can do it, the leverage, using that fulcrum and actually got me airborne. I think that's what he does. That's my explanation, and whatever you want to believe in.
Right. Wow, that's so interesting.